It's just below Mississippi. Anybody know? 50. And this was the Golden State, the most vaunted, praised, esteemed system of education in the world. And we can't fix it. And so what I think you all should be asking yourselves, and what I think more and more people are beginning to wonder about, is can this great system, which we thought was the envy of the world and we tried to sell to the world, is it going to be able to deliver the kinds of solutions that the modern world requires? Now, if you look at China, and I have to say, you know, I'm not an enormous fan of Leninist government. I do believe deeply in democracy. I do believe in that people have and should be able to exercise freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, all of these things. Believe this deeply, which is why it's so alarming to me and disturbing to me to see our own government failing. But if you look at China, you know, honesty, reason compels me to try to analyze it dispassionately. China's good at three things, really good at three things. It's very good at collecting information. You know, the surveillance camera on every street corner, the state security and the public security know everything. They have people all over the world gathering information. They come to see me every other day, asking me my opinions. Ask a lot of people their opinions. They're very good not only collecting information, but they're very good because of the whole state apparatus they have, of the party schools and schools for administrative officials that are state-run. The foreign ministry has a university. They're very good at using all of these state-run think tanks, Academy of Sciences, Social Science, you name it, all over the country, to formulate policy. And we do okay at formulating policy too. But the third thing China is really good at is affecting policy. And when they decide something wants to be done, it's not always easy for them. There's central government and provincial governments, conflicts and different interests. But they're a whole lot better than we are at it. Now, I go to Washington. A lot of my friends are in the Obama administration. They're the smartest people I have ever met in my life. You look at the Secretary of Energy, Steve Chu, a Nobel laureate in physics, the science advisor in the White House, John Holdren from Harvard. You look at Hillary Clinton, a very bright woman. You look at the people in the State Department, first rate. Gary Locke, your own Gary Locke, Secretary of Commerce. Larry Summers, bright guy in the Treasury. Tim Geithner. You know, these guys are really first-rate, smart people. But they can't do anything. And the other thing is they have no money. We have no money anymore. The only money we have is Chinese money. So when we go to Copenhagen to deal with climate change that are in charge of property. So how can you lead when you can't make policy? Obama goes to Copenhagen. He doesn't know what he can say because the lunatics in an insane asylum and not capable of doing anything. So he goes there and he doesn't know what he can say. He doesn't know what he can promise. How can he lead? Very, very difficult. So when you try to analyze and evaluate these two systems, and I think you can tell my preference, I think we have to be very realistic about who can deliver and who's not delivering. And then, of course, you look around the world and you look at other countries that are trying to figure out what model should they adopt? Who should they follow? What country is providing the kind of example of the sort of development process that they would like to follow? They'd like to have some development too. And I think less and less they look to the United States as a good, healthy, viable alternative. And more they look at things like places like China. Russia certainly is looking at China with great interest and envy, I would say, in many ways. So we are at a very complicated time in history, a time when things have changed infinitely more rapidly and more